So, Donnie, today we've talked a lot about mortgage brokers, we've talked about lenders, we've talked about developers, we've talked about many stakeholders. We haven't talked about one stakeholder, and that's the cost consultant. And so I would sort of ask you a question that's twofold. The first one is, what is the biggest challenge you face in your role? And the second part to that question is, how do you feel you handle that, and what sets your firm apart from others on the street?
I would say the biggest risk that we face in these days is that contracts, fixed price contracts that were given to a developer at the start of a project, because of the cost escalations that have been happening, a lot of the trades are not honoring and choosing to walk away or to muscle the developer to add to their contract with change orders. I think that's something that as an industry we've always accepted. Once you've got it committed, that's a locked-in number. Not to say that there wouldn't be changes, but just not to the extent that we've had. And then the schedule impact on used to be COVID, but now let's call it post-COVID supply chain issues. It's a very tricky thing for us as an industry to try and monitor. So where you're trying to make sense of how long are they going to be doing the structure for, and then they end up taking an extra 2 months just because they couldn't get the crews or the form worker couldn't get the materials they needed. So I would say that those are really difficult things for us to deal with, and it's probably the biggest risk that we have, and how we communicate that to the lender when things are happening is probably the most critical. I would say the one thing that we would recommend is that monthly draws is the way to mitigate that. When we have developers where they come every second month, every third month, there's a lot that can happen on a site in 2 to 3 months. And the smarter developers just keep a rhythm, and they keep it monthly because the trades expect to be paid monthly as well. So I would say that's one of the things that we recommend to mitigate that risk. When it comes to setting ourselves apart, I do think that we've got the track record and we've got the relationships with various lenders to know where they're thinking on some of these risks, and we hope that we're keeping on top of it. But I would say that we've been 45 years in the business, 20 years in Pelican Woodcliff. Predecessors were before that, but I mean we've had enough time to cut our teeth on it, and we're hoping that sets us apart.